Welcome back, everyone, to Frenzy Extra. Kevin Shea with Jim Wilson, sports editor from the Telegram and Gazette and Home Team Magazine. And Willie, what a wild night of
crazy
football or non-football we had on Friday, and then a crazy weekend. We're playing games on Saturday, Sunday, Monday Night Football last night.
Love it.
Double overtime games with Quabbin, the shootouts out west. But first, we're going to begin with Friday. Have you ever seen anything like that in your life?
No, it was usually, you see, I mean, I've seen it happen before, but they all whack the games. They just punt and play over the weekend. They all tried to play. I don't know if they thought they can get under the radar. I know Millbury moved earlier, but everybody else thought they could beat it, and it just didn't happen. Because about 7:05, 7:10, I started getting all the Twitter notes and reports from people saying, nope, lightning strike, we're a half-hour delay. It was just chaos for like 3 hours.
It was Armageddon. Trying to get anywhere, trying to drive around the city, trying to get from place to place. It was absolutely Armageddon. You had turf fields that were literally bubbling up like pizza. Like you get those bubbles in pizza. It was crazy. Knee-deep water. And even at the Millbury game, and I went to that game early, and that was a great job by Pat Merritt. It started at 5:30. They almost got the whole game in. But I'm standing with the officials in the baseball field in the dugouts. And the minute you stepped out of the dugout, you were almost up to your knees in water. It was absolutely crazy. For the kids that got to play, which wasn't that many, like the Millbury Bartlett kids got to play 3.5 quarters, they'll never forget it because it was quite a scene. I mean, it was just... And it's great because it's an old school, like, you can't cut, you can't get a lot of traction. No. It's your first hit, and that's basically it. And you got to hope that the running back's right off your hip and going, or you're throwing the ball and you're throwing it 5 yards and someone slips on a tackle.
Right. Your body gets used to it right away because right out after calisthenics, you're already soaked. You're already just walking out to the field. And so it doesn't matter. Once you start hitting, you get used to it. Like you said, the footwork, the traction, you're getting, you get your muddered cleats on. And it just, you're playing in a swamp the whole period. So.
And perfect for Millbury.
Yeah, exactly.
To be playing at the swamp, the Woolly Swamp. And when you have those hits, too, and they had a couple where, especially because they have a little bit of dirt there with the outfield, with the infield grass, and you hit and you slide right into the mud. Just a great scene of, if you have that shot of Americana high school football, that is it.
The puddle mud, the grass Boy Scout kind of stuff.
Now, when the games did play, and we had some good ones on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Great weekend.
You look at, first, the biggest one is Algonquin, beating Wachusett. For me, I think it's the biggest win since Justin McKay took over the program. They've had a lot of big wins each and every year, and these steps, where they say, okay, the program's taking steps. But this, to beat a number one team, an undefeated Wachusett team this late in the season, I think is the biggest win in that program since Justin McKay took over.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I said it was definitely the biggest McKay-era win. I'm going further. I'm trying to think before, with the Dallas Mall and Mark Eddy era.
Right.
They didn't have many big wins back then. So, I mean, that was the whole thing before Justin got there. The whole playoff drought, 2 decades not going into the playoffs.
Right.
So they didn't really have a win to hang their hat on. Back since, probably Frank Kronoff versus Milford somewhere like the 80s, it was one of those games. So to have that game, and again, it's hard to pick. You always pick these games. That's all I hear about. Especially in Algonquin land, where McKay has the machine working against you with
the polls.
Exactly the polls, and the Zapruder film edits. And so he loves to have the us versus them mentality. So you can't say, well, I think Wachusett's going to win, because then you're thinking, oh, you're going to crap all over Algonquin. You don't think I think they're both good teams. And I've got nothing but tout how good Algonquin has been the last couple of years under McKay. And I'm hoping he's there for a while. But, I mean, that's just a great – I mean, the way Wachusett was playing going into this game and their big wins and their tests, St. John's, Leominster, they didn't really break a sweat in those games.
No.
And I don't want to say they're overlooking Algonquin because that's unfair to Algonquin.
Right.
But, I mean, that was just a great game for Algonquin to say they're the number one seed now.
Yeah.
Their consolation prize is playing St. John's this week.
Right.
But, I mean, that's they're the number one seed in Central Mass Division 2. That's a tremendous credit to those kids in that program for keep on believing, not having those roadblocks during the year, those losses, and saying, okay, that's it. I mean, Justin said all season, that's what people were waiting on.
Right.
People were waiting on the fact, okay, now there's 2 losses. Okay, this is where they start falling back. They're going to go into the non-playoff race. Mm-hmm. They didn't happen. With the schedule at the toughest, they played the best.
To beat Shrewsbury and then to beat Wachusett in back-to-back weeks is absolutely phenomenal, and it's a testament to the kids and to the coaching staff.
Because as we always say, on the show, we always talk about these games. Like the St. Peter Marion has a bunch of those. Who are they? Who are they games? If they are they going to compete against this team they're playing this week? Are they going to get punched in the mouth and fall back?
Right.
And okay, they're a good team, but they don't beat the teams they should. Algonquin had those 2 losses. The Shepherd, 2 great teams like Shepherd Hill and Leominster. And there's a good losses anywhere.
Right.
But they just shook them off.
Right.
And now they're ready. And I think a win like this takes them through St. John's. They're ready for. They're not scared of St. John's.
Right.
And they'll be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And who knows what can happen.
Right. Well, it's confidence more than anything else.
Right.
It's confidence now. It's belief and confidence. And when you have kids believing in themselves and you have that self-confidence, it's in a football team that goes a long, long way. You look at St. John's' win over Leominster, decisive win. And this was a statement win. This was a game that I thought was going to be very close. I thought was going to be kind of an offensive shootout, similar to the Shrewsbury-St. John's game. It was not. St. John's just laid the hammer down defensively, and they really rolled in all facets offensively. I mean, they had 3 different running backs that were very effective in this game.
That's the thing. I didn't think they'd win, that big. That was like a take your lunch money kind of win for St. John's, and they just went out there. I mean, when's the last time Leominster got handled like that? Because usually Leominster, we talked about last week with the Neil O'Connor games, it's in their heads. The Leominster big game, and they trade touchdowns, and it ends up coming down to the fourth quarter, 2 minutes left. Whoever has the ball needs to put on a drive to win it, or they lose it, and that's the story. The fact that they couldn't get that drive done in 2 minutes.
Right.
And they came. St. John's left no doubt. That was really impressive. Coming off. The previous week and just showing they can rebound the Wachusett game.
Yeah.
They really responded well. Maybe that's what I took. The Wachusett game was their wake-up call, and now they realize who they are and what they can do, and look out.
Yeah, and it was an emotional, you figure, the emotion of the loss to Wachusett the week before, and that's a huge rivalry game. They're going to say, and both teams will say, it's just another game, just another game. It's not just another game. It's a huge rivalry game. There's bragging rights. There's kids that see each other in other sports and see each other out and around town. So emotionally, to come up off the deck and respond the way they did, St. John's did, very impressive. The Millbury-Bartlett game we talked about, just a great hard-hitting affair on Friday. Bartlett gets a big win. Shrewsbury beating St. Peter Marion is a big win. Big win for Shrewsbury, too, coming in to this week where it's going to be a winner-take-all scenario, Shrewsbury and Leominster. But St. Peter Marion, we've seen it, and you and I have talked about it. Very talented team, and there's great ties there with St. Peter's and Shrewsbury.
Right.
So that's an emotional game, too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think St. Peter Marion is a team I'm still very high on, and they just, for whatever reason, it didn't happen against Shrewsbury. They play the game again tomorrow. Could be a different result. But credit to Shrewsbury, another team that's had a couple tough losses.
Yeah.
They come in. I think they lost 2 or 3, so now heading into this game against Leominster. It's another one of those. Do you want to go to the playoffs or not? That's what it comes down to. Not much locker room motivation before Friday night coming into this game. It's lose or go home, or play the games, the non-Super Bowl games that people pretend to get all fired up about, but they're really just playing out the string until Thanksgiving. Right,
exactly right. And you know what? Defense. You look at the defense for Shrewsbury, and that's what really set the tone in this game in shutting down that St. Peter Marion offense, and then the Shrewsbury offense taking advantage too and feeding off of what the defense did. Neshoba beating Shepherd Hill and beating them on a fake punt. Faking field goal, rather, you're right. Fake field goal, boom, touchdown. That's the difference in this game. And that could be the difference in Shepherd. That is the difference in Shepherd Hill. This week would have been playing for a spot in the playoffs versus being eliminated from the playoffs.
Right, exactly. And it's, everybody's been talking about the Neshoba passing game all year, right?
Yeah.
They get the fake field goal. Rarely they take the Shepherd Hill by surprise. They ended up turn the game around. They get the win, and like you said, put the nail in Shepherd Hill's playoff hopes, and it kept Neshoba alive. They're right there. They're the 3rd seed in Division 2A right now. And that's could be a different story. They could have been another one of those teams looking for answers in the last week.
And I think Division 2A is a real good Division 2 when you look at Marlboro, Doherty, Neshoba, and Tantasco. And Tantasco coming off a big win.
Huge win.
One of the 2 teams that played Friday night in the downpours and waited out the lightning delays. Tantasco beating Northbridge. That's their stepping stone win this season, and that's their win they hang their hat on. When we look ahead to this week, we talked about the Leominster-Shrewsbury winner-take-all. I love that. Specifically in that game, what are you looking for? What do you see? Do you see, because I wouldn't be surprised to see a shootout, to see both teams offensively clicking and it coming down to who's going to have the ball last.
Exactly. I think the Shrewsbury offense has done really well the last couple of weeks, especially the younger players who are stepping and getting bigger reps. Leominster, putting last week aside, that's the Connecticut. It's become the same thing that St. John's had to answer going into that game last week. Can they shake it off? Can they sort of, there's nowhere to go but up from last week.
Right.
So do they believe in that offensive system they had the last couple of weeks with Pat Gallagher on the center and Noah Gray at wide receiver and Alan Link out there? I still think that works for him.
Right.
And try to stop it. St. John stopped it. Credit to them. But let's see if Shrewsbury can.
Right. Now you look at Grafton and Auburn in Division 3. This one's for the top seed, and I'm loving this game too. Both teams are undefeated.
Yep.
Both very physical teams. Both very similar styles. Both teams can throw And they're certainly not one-dimensional. They're not run the ball 99% of the time, but both teams and coaching staffs would love to be able to run the ball and not have to throw at all. But both can throw and certainly take a lot of pride in their passing game and have quarterbacks that can throw too. But very physical teams that want to go straight ahead at you, want to control the line of scrimmage, and that's what I think this is going to come down to.
Right.
Who is going to control the line of scrimmage? Because in order to stop Melifonwu, you need to control the line of scrimmage. You can't let him get loose. The minute he gets to the second level, beyond the linebackers, forget about it. He's too fast, one-on-one, trying to tackle him in space. You're not going to do it.
This is what the Auburn defense has been preparing for the last 7 weeks. You know, I think they look at what Northbridge did. Again, you know, not so much stop him, but slow him down, contain Melifonwu. It's, you know, it's hard to do.
Yeah.
But if they can not make him beat him, you know, let him have his big runs. But as long as he doesn't find the end zone, he's fine.
Yeah.
So I think it's become to what did Northbridge do, and can Auburn duplicate that, or at least try something similar? Sort of find the key to sort of slowing them down. Or conversely, what did Grafton learn from that game?
Right.
What did they learn? Okay, well, they are stopping us by doing this, and we'll do this to circumvent it.
Right.
Because they got to know that other teams are going to try to do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
And Auburn has a talent level to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be an interesting thing. You know, can they stop? You know, Fowle? Can Grafton stop Saucier?
Right.
That's going to be a big thing. I mean, you know, Auburn is one of those teams I talked about earlier. Those horror film teams that you got to, you know, they just St. John's. They're going to be there till the end. You have to put a stake in their heart in the third quarter, because in the fourth quarter they're coming alive. I mean, they have two big comeback wins in the last couple of minutes to get the job done.
And they have that belief in themselves. I think in Auburn in practice this week, you're going to see a lot of pursuit drills, because that's one of the biggest things. Any team that is playing Melifonwu, it's pursuit. Take the right angle on him. So you almost want to just put a parachute on him. You don't want to give up the big play. And this, more than any week, is a week where you need all 11 guys flying to the football, because you need, if the first guy misses them, the second, third guys, you have to take the right angle of pursuit. You have to be there, break down, read his hips, and try to make a good open field tackle and get help as well from your linebackers, even your defensive linemen pursuing the football, and certainly the contain unit as well. St. Peter Marion and Nipmuc, this for a Division III playoff spot. And Division III right now, you're looking at St. Peter's, Quabbin, North Middlesex, and Northbridge, all vying for the last two spots. Four very good teams. St. Peter's has Nipmuc. That's a good challenge and a really good game. And
Nipmuc coming off a loss to Holy Name, you know, it's another one of those how do they respond games. It seems to be a theme this week. You know, teams getting muckled the week before. What do they come back to? You know, Nipmuc is a very talented team. They're out there in that Dual Valley. You know, not many people are talking about them, but they're going to be tough. I mean, somebody told me that Holy Name would give them a hard time. I sort of thought differently. I thought Nipmuc was good, talented enough to weather that storm.
Yeah. Not
the case. I mean, they come in and they have a lot of things to answer with Richards and those guys on offense. They have a very talented, explosive offense. Can St. Peter Marion contain that?
And Quabbin may sneak in by the skin of their teeth. Last night, they win in double overtime over Gardner. And this is a game that they scored a touchdown with 14 seconds left to send the game into overtime. In this drive, they had 4th down and 7 in the final minute. And the quarterback, Malkowski, rolled out, didn't find anything, took off, scrambled, and had a huge run. Had like a 35-yard run. But that's on 4th and 7. If he gets stopped, game over, Gardner wins. They keep the drive alive. He has a great pass to Lanford, touchdown. We're going into overtime. We're going to 2 overtimes. Quabbin wins. Their playoff hopes are still alive. And it is wild to watch this team play, because they just, like I've said before, you're going to score 50, they'll score 60. You're going to score 60, they'll score 70.
And they will.
Over 100 points. In a high school football game, over 100 points.
If they can find a defense, they'd be dangerous.
Oh, my God.
That's the problem. That they have to. It's almost like they want the other team to score so they can get back to the ball.
Right.
That's what they want to do. They just like to stay like a Madden offense. They like to just huck the ball down the field and put up ungodly numbers. But the problem is they're giving the ball back and they're getting run all over the place.
Right.
And that's why they're sort of scrambling for that last spot. But if they can get into the playoffs, who knows what can happen?
Right.
I mean, can a Marlboro or Doherty contain that offense?
Right.
That's the problem. They just got to score last.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, Division IV, Littleton, West Boylston are in. We think Leicester's in as well. So you're talking about Clinton and David Prouty both battling for the final spot. Clinton has Narragansett this week. Prouty has Bartlett, so it's going to be really tough.
Close.
Both are going to be really close games. Could go either way, but both teams know in order for us to get in, we have to win. We can't rely on anyone else, which is what I like.
That's what I became a writer to avoid math, which is just ironic because now I'm faced with being like math guy for all the coaches calling me, say, what if this happens? Because it's the easiest thing I tell the coaches, just win and get those 10 points plus the 2 for whatever other wins. get your 18 points for beating that game and get some breathing room, because all you're going to be doing is looking at other fields and looking on our Twitter at hometeam.com and just trying to figure out, did this team win that? Did we get the points from that? We beat them. Did they beat these guys? Because that's what's going to come down to. A lot of the counting points and percentage points at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's crazy. Division 4A, that one looks pretty much set with BVT and Maynard at the top, and Bay Path and Assabet looking at like they're battling for the final spots there. I'll tell you what, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a great week of football, and when we come back next week, Willie and I will be talking about the playoffs and previewing already. Playoff games. Hard to believe. We haven't even finished October yet, and we're talking playoffs. Trick or treat, everyone. All right, the Frenzy Extra will be back after this.